right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Competitive Edge Real Estate Report. I'm your host, Barry Overton, and I'm excited to bring to you another great episode with a great guest that we have today. We have a lot of things that are going on in the real estate market that have some people a little nervous. They have some people that are getting excited because of opportunities that are there. But I'm going to tell each and every one of you, this is whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, there is an opportunity there for you. And you just have to know how to take advantage of it. And that's why you want to be able to get the competitive edge. So today, I'm excited for this guest because he's someone that I've known of for several years and just recently got to meet. And we've created a great partnership and friendship in a very short period of time. And now I want to make him your friend. So this gentleman, just to let you know a little bit about him, he has been helping families in the Colorado market for almost 30 years now to realize the dream of home ownership. But then he's taking it to the next level with them and showing them how to build a real estate portfolio and create wealth through real estate. He's one of the top 1% loan originators in the entire country. And his name is synonymous with real estate in the Colorado market. He's been a student of one of the elite training programs, the core training program for mortgage brokers, and now is a teacher because see, he wants to take the generation behind him of mortgage brokers and bring them up to the level that he's been able to rise to and help more families. So he is a coach, he's a mentor, he is an expert in the mortgage industry. And ladies and gentlemen, he's here today, Mr. Gavin Ekstrom. How you doing, sir?
That introduction, man, that makes me feel really good, but it's all facts. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's an honor to be here. And Barry, yeah, it's been a short time that you and I have got to know each other, but you're the salt of the earth, and I am super honored to be considered a friend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, like I said, I've known about you and seen your success for quite a few years. So it's an honor for me as well to be able to learn from you. I know just in a very short period of time, it's like every time we're together, I get a nugget here, and a nugget there. That helps my business. And I'm not a real estate agent, but again, that's what it's just a part of your nature to help people in general, whether it's buyers, sellers, mortgage brokers, other real estate professionals. It's just in you to do that.
Yeah, I think we got to remember we're in the people business, right? And so I always say that somebody came into your life for a reason. It's up to you to figure out as to why. And it's what we deal with is 95% people, 5% stuff. And right now in this market, it feels like it's flipped. It feels like we're dealing with 95% stuff. And we're going to talk about that today, where it's really, it's not accurate information that's being portrayed. There's a lot of fear in this market, and this is a market that you should be excited about. And we'll talk about that today as well.
Yeah, we'll jump right into that. Just talking about the state of the market, because we've seen almost like a switch that went on and a 180 in regards to what the market is doing right now. And while we've been in this pretty heavy seller's market for quite a few years now, we're seeing opportunities for buyers that are coming along. But when you see the news in the media, you often see things that are giving the doom and gloom of the economy and real estate in general. I want to just, from an expert perspective, get your ideas in regards to where the market sits right now.
Yeah. So the first thing I say is shut off the news. Get with a industry professional like yourself, like I am, and get the facts, right? Because the fear is what sells, and unfortunately, that's what's being sold in our market. Get educated on the market, understand your stats. For example, 51% of all listings in the state of Colorado had a price reduction. I think that's a big mistake, and we'll talk about ways that you can navigate more of an impact and a benefit to both buyer and seller by not doing a price reduction. And we'll talk about that today as well. But I think we got to educate the market as the opportunities are here. There are more homes on the market than ever before. And again, the sellers are now more realistic and able and willing to negotiate. Time on market is expanding, which is okay. It's just all the signs point to a normalizing market, which I like it to the movie Wolf of Wall Street, right? The last 2 years has been a great run. It's been exciting. There's been a lot going on. And then all of a sudden the Fed showed up and flipped on the lights and the party was over. Well, the party's not over. There's agents and lenders having their best year ever. And I think that I look at it and say, hey, why not me or why not you? And if it's market share and effort. If we're putting in the effort to gain the market share, we'll continue to be successful. And so back to the consumer, it's really just going back to the basics of education, getting them the facts about the market.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, we are definitely in a paradigm shift. And the key with any time there's a paradigm shift is being able to make the shift with it. Again, you have, 30 years in the mortgage industry, 21 years in real estate. We've seen it all. And we've lived through it and survived and thrived through it all. And one of the things I've always said is that, in real estate, someone is always buying, someone is always selling. You just have to learn how to be the person that brings the two together. So again, I had to learn how to do short sales and REOs, in a certain market. And right now we're looking at different types of loan programs. I mean, there's never been as many grant programs out there that I've seen in the past couple of years than what we're experiencing now. So what that means for me is amazing opportunities for first-time home buyers.
Yes, it is a phenomenal opportunity for a first-time home buyer to get into this market, right? And what we have to remind our first-time buyer, even our move-up buyer, is you can always refinance. There's a meme out there, I think it says, you date the payment, you marry the house, which is so true. But if you get back to, the statistics of it, right? First and foremost, an average homeowner that's owned a home for 5 years, they've refinanced 2 times during that 5-year period. So the payment that they started with is not the payment that they ended with. The other thing too, as we're in an inflationary period, and as inflation increases, so do interest rates. I believe that there's a recession around the corner. Some people say we're already in it. But once we go into a recession, once we hit the recession and it's official, you'll start to see interest rates drop. It's always been proven that during a recession, interest rates are lower. The other benefit that we have with technology today is that recession time frame is a lot less than what it was in years past. It's not going to be a long-term recession. It's going to be maybe 6-7 months. It's not going to be a 12 to 18 month recession. Furthermore, you gotta go back to in markets like this where it's normalized, to look at all of the opportunities. And for a first-time home buyer to not have to compete and have to pay $10,000 to $20,000 more over the asking price in cash, which they don't have it anyway, right? It automatically pushed them out of the market. Now, listing agents and sellers are willing to look at FHA, CHAFA, Denver Metro, some of these other down payment assistance programs that are a benefit to that first-time home buyer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then also, again, not having those competitive offer situations and seeing the price continue to go up. I just went under contract with a client over the weekend where the original list price and where we ended up was a $90,000 difference. And,
wow.
In the additional provisions, there was one line in there in regards to inspection, whereas it used to be War and Peace. We used to write a book, giving up everything to the seller. So definitely great opportunities for buyers now. But now we have, as you mentioned earlier, these sellers that it's been a party, for the last few years, and the lights have come on, and a lot of them are now fearful of the market that they're in. But there's certain strategies that they can take to still make their house more appealing than others. I'd love for you to just kind of share some of those ideas.
Yeah, I think a couple things too. It goes back to educating the seller on the market. Days on market, right? 30 days on market is not it's not bad. It actually is good for our industry. Some homes are still selling for above asking price. But one of the main strategies that we're working on right now with a lot of our listing agents and our sellers is not to do a price reduction, to do a permanent rate buy down or a 2-1 buy down. And basically what this is it allows the buyer to get that lower monthly mortgage payment either permanently or on a temporary period, 1 year, 2 year, and then the 3 year, increasing each year by 1%. The impact that has on the buyer, the dollar goes a lot further in that scenario than if you were to do a $15,000 price reduction. So that's something to consider. I think too, Barry, is that agents have to get back to selling, right? We got to get back to selling. We became order takers for so long, both on the lending and selling side. It didn't matter what our pictures looked like online. It didn't matter if we did video. We got to get back to doing all of those things that got us to this point, because what got us here is not going to get us there. And so now it's compounding on that. And so the biggest advantage I see in this market right now for a seller is not to do a price reduction, is to give concessions to buy down that interest rate. Builders have been doing that for years, and you're starting to see that happen again and again. So
I totally agree with that, and definitely agree with agents have to get back to selling, because it was just a matter of putting a sign in the yard, throwing it on MLS, sold, multiple offer situations. But now we have to be outside the box thinkers. We have to be creative. We are the experts. We are the ones that the sellers, the consumer is coming to us because of that expertise, and it has to be on display. And one of the things that, I've always told people that anytime a mortgage broker would reach out to me for a meeting, I would always take that meeting, because how I market myself, I sell the dream of home ownership, but it's the mortgage broker that makes it the reality. And we have to be able to work together. And in this market that we're in right now, I'm seeing so many different creative ways. Just like you mentioned, the 2-1 buy down is a way to help a buyer, in instance, get a lower interest rate. The grant programs that are out there. We may even see assumable loans be something that can come back and help buyers.
I want to unpack a couple of things there. So first off is the getting back to selling. It's also what you touched on, the relationship. You're talking about, hey, I'll take an appointment with a lender because I want them to know who I am. I feel like the best agents like yourself also have great relationships with other agents, right? And I feel like we're going to go back to old school real estate, where it's like, hey, I know of this listing happening, or I know this person would be interested in selling if I could just find the right property. And so communication amongst agents. If you look at how Russell Wilson just bought his $23 million house, it was off market. It wasn't listed. And so that happened through a relationship. And so I think there's the same approach that you take with lenders. And I know you already do this with agents. I think more agents need to follow in your footsteps in that mantra. So I think that also in dealing with the seller, it just goes back to education, and them realizing that, hey, it's not the same market as it was just 30 days ago. This market shifted, and it shifted really quick.
Yes, indeed, it did. And we'll close it out, but I want to definitely give you the last word here. But again, for me, it's always a treat to just be around you. I learn so much anytime that we're in the same space together. And I always appreciate you being able to just share that information, because again, that's just the giving heart that you have. But I want to, again, if there's just one thing that you would tell, whether it's a buyer, seller, or both, that are on the fence about purchasing right now, or on the fence about putting their house on the market, what would be that piece of advice that you would share with them?
So first, when you take a buyer, right, looking at a buyer right now, their dollar actually in the market goes a little bit further than it would in the market we were in the last 2 years. You buy down the interest rate, wait for the market. It's going to get better in the coming months, right? And real estate is a long-term game. It's an investment. It's the best way to create wealth. And getting that first house is that step in that direction. So the first house is not going to be perfect. Just get into the market, right? Just think about your first car. You just were happy that it got you from point A to point B. That's all that mattered. Think about that as the same way as your first home. As far as sellers are concerned, is get creative. Get with an agent that knows the market. Get with a lender that understands opportunity and ways to be creative in getting buyers interested in your property. Another thing too is one thing that we do different than most lenders is we do a total cost analysis for every client. And we show them 3 programs right now. We show them a straight 30-year fixed. We show them the payment and cash to close on a 2-1 buy down. And we show them also on a permanent buy down. And then the 4th option we show them is a refinance to really get them thinking what the next transaction can look like, right? I think rates will be down in 4.5, if not lower here soon. And we could see the 3s again. Sellers, just be aware of time on market. It's changing, but it doesn't mean that we're in a bad market. We're just in that influx, and there's still opportunities to get your home sold when you list with a professional like yourself who is well connected and has a great network. The opportunity to sell that house is much greater.
Yeah. All right, Gavin, thank you so much for your time. I know you have a busy schedule, and I'm just honored that you were able to squeeze me in and share this
Anytime, buddy.
Yeah, because I know this is going to impact some other people and definitely change some lives. So I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode in the books of the Competitive Edge Real Estate Report. Reach out to myself, Gavin. Our information is at the end of this video. If you have any questions or you're looking to purchase, definitely reach out to Gavin. He's going to be able to guide you, him and his team. It's not just him. He has an entire team that's working behind him, and you are going to have that entire team working for you. So thank you again, Barry Overton, International Real Estate Advisor. Have a great day.
See you later, buddy. All right.